So, hello everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited. I have decided to start these series of interviews for near-death experiencers, people that have gone through traumatic events and that have changed their lives because of these amazing experiences that really enrich their lives as much as ours when we hear their stories. So this is the first of many that we're going to have here on the channel. And I'm very excited to welcome Phil Siracusa to our, I don't want to say show because it's not a show, but to my channel. And so because we're going to talk to him about his story. So hi, Phil, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
The honor is mine to have you here. Absolutely, for you taking the time to help humanity with your story. So as I mentioned to you before, I would love to hear, the story of like who you were before, the experience, and who you were after. And probably while you're talking about the experience itself, I might ask you some questions that have to do with the what I mentioned before about taking people through the dying process during the quantum hypnosis sessions. So during that time, I'll probably be asking you some questions as well. So go ahead. Let's get started.
My name is Philip Siracusa. I'm the author of the Horsefly Chronicles. I'm the owner of the infamous Haunted Horsefly Chronicles home in Pennsylvania. I'm also a radio host of Horsefly Chronicles Radio. I'm also sometimes on television, Horsefly Chronicles series.
Wow.
I'm a 56-year-old man, and it's my duty and diligence. I consider myself a messenger to teach mankind that there is another side beyond this realm, the physical realm. In 1981, I was 14 years old. I grew up in Staten Island, New York. I went to Catholic school, and I remember there was one time my mom had to take me to the dentist, and I don't like the dentist. I don't know who does. And it was a beautiful summer day, and we're walking up the block, and I'm sitting in the dentist office, anxious to get it over with, whatever, it was a routine visit. And it was the assistant, the dentist, and he was cleaning my teeth. And then I felt like they were pulling on something with one of their tools. So I was pulling his arm away. And he says to the assistant, put nitrous oxide on. Yeah. And they put, which we used to call laughing gas or sweet air. And I was still pulling the dentist arm away as he was poking it. I guess it was a cavity. And he says to the assistant, turn it up. And she turns up the nitrous oxide. And when she turns it up, about 30 seconds later, I feel myself floating out of my body. I'm on the ceiling looking down at the dentist, the assistant, and my mom. And I also see me being worked on. I'm like, hello, mom, can you see me? Hello. Now I think I'm in a dream state. Um, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel any pain, so I like that part of this. Then I go through the ceiling into the sky, and everything's getting smaller, the homes and the buildings. And then I'm pulled into a tunnel that comes from nowhere, and it's not visible to the physical eye. This is not my spirit body. The tunnel is like a vacuum, and I'm pulled really, really fast. And what I do remember is this vibration sucking me through. And there's no amount of speed that I could even give you that I was being forced through it. And it wasn't painful. It was just like I was being pulled through. It was windy and windy and long and windy. And I remember seeing a pinhole of light in the furthest of distance through the spirit eye now. And then I started slowing down in this tunnel. As I'm slowing down, I hear melodies. And then I'm being pulled right to the pinhole of light that opens up into this magnificent, beautiful sky, an essence of energy that is unconditionally filled with love. I'm gravitationally pulled to the right side through these gates, through a garden. And at this point now, I feel like I'm back home. I'm home. The garden is second to none. Every leaf, every flower, every rose was beyond perfection that my simpleton words in the physical world could even fathom of giving you. Beyond perfection. And not only was it beyond perfection of the look that we would even think it was alive. Each blade of grass, each leaf, each flower, each rose was alive in the creation of existence, which kind of meant that you feel the energy of everything. And when you feel the energy, it's unconditional love. Then I'm being pulled through a field, and the field is huge. There's no time or distance that I could even give you. It just keeps going on. It's this rolling field that's beautiful. And I love every second of it. Wherever I am, I know that I'm home and I'm embracing it. And this angelic being comes from the furthest of the distance from this field, and she comes to me and pulls me by a gravitational magnetic pull through the field. And I know her, but I don't know from where. And I feel safe with her as well. And she pulls me to the left side where I see a park that will look like a park, and then she goes away. And I don't want her to go away. Now, what is actually happening here on the other side is that we're like levitating through everything. We're not walking, we're drifting, we're levitating through it. I see these two elderly people. They stand up and they turn around. It's my grandparents. It's my grandfather, who I never met because he was deceased before I was born. He had a top hat on with a gray suit with this vibrant smile. He looked around his 60s. And my grandmother, who died earlier that year, who was buried in her blue dress in 1981. And I says, Grandpa. And he says, hello, Sonny. And I just felt the love. Like, I finally get to meet you. Finally. And I look at my grandma, like, aren't you happy to see me? And then my grandfather looks at my grandmother, goes, what's Philip doing here? And she looks at him and looks at me and says, go back. And I says, Grandma, and she puts her finger out, points, and I'm being pulled backwards through the field and through the garden and through the gates and through this tunnel. And I didn't want to go leave them. When you're on the other side, you don't want to leave it, period. It's what life really is. And I'm being pulled backwards through the tunnel. Now, this tunnel, it's important for people to know what this tunnel is like. This tunnel is real. It's a vortex. It's a portal. At one point of going backwards, it's kind of like you're never going to be found, seen, or heard because you're an existence of nothing, that nothing exists because it's complete darkness. It's like you're this null and void into a nothingness. And that's the scary part about my experience, is that you want to be pulled either through it one way or another, this tunnel. And that tunnel, again, is what I consider to be the portal of worlds. I'm being pulled through it, then I go really, really fast over a hospital, and I'm looking straight down through. Now, material things, through a spirit body, material things don't exist. It only exists through the creation of an illusion that's formed through a consciousness. But we slip right through material things, walls and doors, and it's as if it doesn't even exist. We know it's there, but it doesn't exist to stop us, whatever it's made out of. Right through, and I'm looking at me, and I don't want to go back. Now I know what happened, and I don't want to go back. And I see an oxygen mask, and there's people around me, and I'm gasping for air, and I don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. But unfortunately, when the other side says you're going back, you're going back. And I slipped in like you put a glove on, and I feel myself breathing and breathing heavy and heavy and heavy. And I finally come to, and the first person I see is my mom and the doctors. And what happened was I had an allergic reaction. When I was born, in the 60s. I was born allergic to everything. And I guess that nitrous oxide just shut me down and stopped me from breathing.
Wow.
Luckily, um, I was able to come to. But if I was alone and there was no way of bringing me back, then I wouldn't be talking about this today. And I remember a couple of days later saying to my mom in the home in Staten Island, I was in heaven. I seen grandma and grandpa. You know, in 1981, it was a dream. It was an illusion. It was hallucination, Phil, from the medications. You know where you are. You know it because you could feel every fiber and bone in the body, but you can't explain it because people don't get it. So it was okay. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I lived a good teenage life, and I tried to tell my friends in the neighborhood a few days after that I was in heaven, and no one believed me. In fact, I didn't even know if I believed me. It wasn't up until a year later, 2000, it was a year later in, I'm sorry, 1982, where I'm in the backyard and I look up at the sky and I says, God, if I was really in your home, give me a sign because no one believes me. So my mom says to my brothers and my sisters, hey, we're going to go for a walk. It's a beautiful day out. So I walk through the gates and to the front yard. And I look at the rose bush in the front yard, and I was just looking at the flowers and the rose petals. And it was just bringing back memories. And my father's work in Manhattan. So we all meet in the front and we start walking. Now, people ask me today, do miracles happen? We're walking, and about a half a block up, I feel this vibration on the right side of me. It's my mom in front of me, my older brothers, and my older sister is to the furthest of the right, my sister Patricia. I feel this energy in between both of us, and I turn, and it's this girl from heaven. Remember that angelic being that I spoke about? She had on blue jeans. She had on a shirt, and the shirt that had the flowers in the garden in heaven. She had blonde hair, pale complexion, with filled with life and vibrant. She's skipping. And I says, Mom, that's her. That's her. She goes, there's no one there. And I says to my brothers, that's just the girl from heaven. I don't see her. My older sister Patricia's looking. And she's not only looking, but she goes, I see her. And she's talking to her. And I felt so good. She's talking to her. This girl brought life into the physical realm that life doesn't even exist to that fathom of energy. She's like that Duracell battery times 1,000. She's skipping and laughing. And I says, you can see me? And her exact words to me were, of course I could see you, silly. And I'm so happy. And she's having a conversation with my sister. And then we keep walking about a block up, another block, and another block. And she's with us, and I feel great. My sister's happy. She sees her. And it's just somebody that she thought joined us from the neighborhood. And she disappears. Now we're looking for her. We don't find her. And my sister is looking for her. We're looking up and down the street. My mom, my older brothers think we're nuts because there's no one there that they have seen. Well, before I was born, my mom had lost a child at a couple weeks old in that house. And that would have been my sister Linda. And this would be in the 60s.
Wow.
And there's a strong belief, for no doubt, that God says, this is your message. Here's your sister. To this day, at my age, maybe my sister once a week will have a conversation about the girl from heaven, our sister, who's buried in Staten Island with my grandmother in the same cemetery and the same plot that was in heaven. God will give us the most mysterious answers and answer our prayers and thoughts when we have enough intent and thought behind it. I get asked, Phil, if you were really in heaven, did you meet God the way you learned it in school? I was in Catholic school. No, 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 I didn't. Did I meet the creator, the vibration that we call God? Yes. God is the light, which was the first thing I seen. The light is the energy. The energy is the vibration. The vibration is the love, which is the essence and the creation of every living thing. That is God. And I could tell you that that fulfillment and enjoyment and happiness, that pureness and that feeling that I've come back with is like no other feeling. I get asked, am I afraid of death now? No. We're all afraid of decaying and how we're going to go. And are we going to be sick and suffering? But I can promise anyone that I'm a messenger, and there's many people like me around the world who have these near-death experiences because we're here to give a message to other people. Live, be happy, and don't take time for granted because you can't buy time. So don't let the simpleton things in life rule out your time, that you should be helping and loved with others and sharing happiness, because you can't get that back. Your dollars are not going to buy the time that you've lost.
That's
There is
big.
an unconditional love and truth and happiness that is existence of every one of us, and it is the pureness of our soul. And I get asked all the time, well, if you're really in heaven, why was your grandfather 60 years old? My grandfather was that age to show me, hey, Sonny, this is me.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, it wasn't the 60-year-old you'd see in the physical realm. It was this vibrational 60-year-old that you'd want to look like, actually, on the other side. And you can't really fathom it till you get there. But that's kind of like, yeah, I'm 60, but it's just the way the soul's showing themselves. So this is me. I'm your grandpa. I'm your
It's,
grandmother.
yeah, it's for recognition. It's for
Yeah.
recognition. It's for you to recognize who he was. Because if there was some old guy, young guy, you're like gonna be like, who's this?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that goes back to my sister, who I never did meet. There was no pictures because she died at 2 weeks old. And that's when I says I thought I knew her, but I didn't know from where. And then here comes the miracle that following year. And I could say this, and I want to add this, that we all go through hardships and downfalls in life and hard times. There are 3 times that I went to bed and thinking I'm going through a hard time, and boy, I don't even know if I want to wake up tomorrow. I'm just filled with all these problems and obstacles. And she comes through in this dream state. And she not only comes through, but she's taken me through that field, which is second to none. And I wake up the next morning feeling like my soul has been rejuvenated, alive. I could take these problems on. Let's do it. That happened to me 3 times. Never give up the thought, never give up the positivity and the love within you, and don't make the surroundings of you influence you. Society and culturism and belief systems of do it this way, not that way. Your soul is here on a mission. I believe that before we come into the physical realm, we have a soul contract and we want to experience certain things. And it's a life learned lesson here in the physical realm, only till you go back home. The ride here in the physical realm is short, so enjoy it while you're here. Don't take it for granted, and don't make the biggest mistake of mankind. Don't let money get into the way of, well, if you don't have $1 million, you ain't going to be happy. Don't buy into that. Buy into the essence of you, because you are the creator. You came into the physical realm alone. You are going to leave alone. Don't let anyone interfere with your journey. The journey was designed by you, and you're going to go back home to the creator, which we call the essence of God, which is love.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's so beautiful that you were able to get this message early in your life. Like you didn't have to be a 50-year-old or, or 60-year-old to get this message, because that is the message that I actually tell people in my channel. Like I live my life like I'm going to die tomorrow. Literally. Every decision I make is, should I drive 1 hour to go, eat dinner with my adult children? And the answer is always yes. Why? Because if I were to die tomorrow, what was the right decision? Is the right decision to go to Egypt for a month? Well, if I die tomorrow, yes, that's the right decision. So it you've put everything perfectly together. And what I just love to tell people is you got to live your life like you're going to die tomorrow. And every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. And how beautiful that you again were able to learn this so early on. Just so beautiful. When you were going through the tunnel, was there lights moving, or was there a swirl? Were there colors, or was it white light? Like what did the tunnel look like? Or was it just a light at the end of the tunnel and that's it?
The tunnel is huge. The tunnel is black and long, and it's something that we couldn't fathom how big this thing is because you can't see it, right? The spirit eye goes through, but you can't see it, and it's a portal from one dimension to another.
Yes.
Dimension from the physical to the spiritual, the real part of us, actually. Um, you do see, you do see at one point at the beginning stages, you'll see like stars. You do see stars and these lights, and they could be moons or galaxies that are physically there, but then once you keep going, they no longer exist. It doesn't. The part of that tunnel goes straight to the connection of what we call heaven, which I personally call home. Um, it brings you there. It's a transport of energy, this vortex that brings the soul from point A to point B within a second, which we try to say it feels like an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, or days. It's so instantaneous in a spot where you're just like, right, there's no amount of speed I could even fathom to give on this show of how fast you go through this tunnel. You're being sucked through it. You can't go the other way. You're being pulled right through it.
Wow.
But when it opens up, it's euphoric. And you're home. You
Wow.
know it. You know you're home. You are embraced with so much love. In the physical realm, I teach people we have five senses, right? You could see, you could hear, you could smell, you could touch, you could breathe. There's unlimited senses of the spiritual body when you have a 360 view of everything on the other side. You're unlimited where you could telepathically communicate with the loved ones. You're unlimited where you can feel the vibration of creation of everything that exists. Every flower, every rose. People say, well, what big deal? A blade of grass is perfect on the other side. It's the creation of the blade of grass that you understand and feel it that makes it pure. And here it's not pure in the physical realm. It's not. I get asked all the time, can there ever be heaven on earth? No. No, it can't. And I'm a straightforward person. We're here for an experience through a soul contract. I
Exactly.
also get asked, well, then, if there's such a God, why do children die of cancer? Why do people die in horrific accidents? We have soul contracts. Each one of us has designed a puzzle that we want to create before we're born into the physical realm. A puzzle may be short with a few pieces and then it's complete, or it may be long where we die at 90 or 100 years old, where it's a big puzzle of life. I believe that some of these short puzzles, the spirit has says, hey, I've already done this. I just want to experience a couple more things. So I'm going to go at a week old or 2 weeks old or a birth. I'll see you guys when you get back here. That's what it's like. And I know that it's hard. And it's like, well, why? Because we hurt and miss the people that we love so much. Like, why would you have to be taken this way, this tragic accident? But I can promise you this, we all grieve. Each and every one of us, we grieve for loved ones that we've lost. We all do. But guess what? You're going to see them again. Not only are you going to see them, there's no pain, there's no sickness, there's no negative energy, there's no hate, there's no hurt, it's unconditional vibrational love with that other being that you loved. And not only will you see that person, you're going to see people from what I call extended families through multiple lifetimes. Again, we are reincarnated, in my belief, because we sometimes want to choose different journeys here, or different, we may even go somewhere else besides Earth. This is not the only planet that we call life. It's not.
Yeah.
We just haven't gotten there yet. Some
Yeah.
of us haven't gotten there to understand that yet,
Yeah.
because we try to label science as science has to say it. No. Just like the news has to tell you the truth, and the news don't tell you the truth.
No.
We are the truth.
Yes.
We are the soul's journey of truth. So I get asked, well, you went to Catholic school. Do you believe in Catholic religion or Christian? I do not disrespect anyone's religion or belief. I don't, because you're here on your mission and your journey. However, I will tell you that everything is combined into a positive energy, no matter what domination of religion and your belief and your culture is. It's all the existence of one. We're unified and connected on that side, and a universal karmic energy that is an existence of infinity, where we never had a beginning, we don't have an end, we are the creators of us.
Absolutely. And actually that's perfect for my next question, which I was going to ask you is, did you get the feeling that you were one with all? Like like you felt like that blade of grass was you, and you know what I'm saying? Like, did you feel a sense of like you were all of it? Uh, You were part of that as much as you were part of you, if that makes sense. Like we're
You are
all one,
embraced.
right?
Yeah. Yes, you are embraced with everything that is living, that exists, that is created by your creator. Yes. Yes. You
Beautiful.
are universally connected to everything and everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I want people to know this. Look, I don't read the Bible, and I don't disrespect religion. In fact, I question a lot of myself and what I've where I've been, what I've went through. But when a miracle happens and another person in the family witnesses the miracle, and 3 points of your life, when you're down and out, you become restored. Never give up, never have doubt, keep pushing forward, always, because you have designed it that way. And when it's time for you, when that exit sign does come because you have chosen it before you came here, that's fine. But complete the mission. In simpleton words, don't end it quick based on something you're feeling. You'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just really beautiful words. I love it. I love it. That's wonderful. Um, did your family, did they learn anything from you? Was there any
Me and
change in
my
them?
older sister, me and my older sister Patricia, we talk about this. We're spiritually connected in a way where we understand, and we've seen our sister that didn't make it. Um, Trying to talk to the rest of the family was difficult at times because people are estranged into the beliefs of the Catholic religion and how they grew up, and I don't disrespect that, but when you're outside of it and when you have an experience unlike anything other, you really know the truth within you, but you're not supposed to, by any means, interfere with anybody else's journey. And what I mean by that is if they believe a certain thing, don't stop them because it's not your job. It's not our job to stop someone's. We're here on free will and choice. Don't stop another person. If they want to listen, then the vibration is there. Let them listen and talk about it. But if they're closed off, let it be because that's a reason. Let them finish their journey and go through things. And if they need to talk about certain things, have an open air, both physically and spiritually for them. You know, I'm well known for the house that I live in through my near-death experience, and I've been in a notorious haunted house. And people used to say, "Well, ghosts don't exist." It's, I tell you this: as a hardcore New Yorker, the first thing a New Yorker does, we do, is we debunk everything. And the old Italian saying is, if you don't, you don't believe it, forget about what you hear, right? I mean, that's just point the way it is.
Yep.
But we're so narrow minded into the physical realm of, well, we're alone and there's no such thing as another life or another existence. Or it couldn't be furthest from the truth. We're just a piece of grain in this cosmic view of everything and of a world that is so big and so immense that who are you or me or anybody to say that, well, we're just the only existence and, when we come from the A cell and no, 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 no. Again, I'm not here to change the thought of people, but I have helped many people through my near death experience not take their own lives. A lot of people have come forward and says, I didn't want to go till tomorrow. I was done. Keep pushing through. I promise you, there's a reason you've chosen this. I know it's difficult, but you have to remember this. None of us are invincible physically, but we are invincible spiritually because we never cease to exist.
Right.
We never are lights out in the creation of energy, which is our souls. Ever. Some of us has deja vu where I've been there, I know I've been there, and you can't prove it. You've been to a certain place at a certain time. You were there. What is narrowed down to the physical realm and the journey that we go through, how I describe it through my experience, is that if you draw a circle, and that's the earth that you live on, well, now draw another circle outside of that, and that would be another existence of another dimension. And I'll draw another circle and keep drawing circles and getting bigger and bigger and getting an infinite. Well, guess what? We just cross dimension. And we don't just exist on the realm that you think you exist only because you are the creator. We exist sometimes multiple dimensions simultaneously, where some of us may have an out of body experience. Say, well, I know I've had this experience. It's because you have. You have cross dimensions. Um, Science is not going to prove everything because it's not meant to. We, the creators, know this. And some of us, I believe we're all spiritually gifted souls, each and every one of us. Some of us are more awakened and aligned to tell other people, hey, if you want to listen, I can help you. And I promise you this is just a short journey, but those other dimensions, this is probably the hardest one.
Yep.
Wait till you get to the other ones.
Yep.
It and it's a movie. There's a movie that is so dynamically similar to the things I explained. It's called The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. It's an awesome movie. And it's about he goes to sleep and he wakes up in another lifetime. And I try to cross reference that to our existence of going through another dimension. Picture just waking up and be like, okay, I'm here, but I've always been here. It's very similar to when you go back home.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Um, so knowing what you know, and I think you've already told people pretty much what's most important for me, which is of course the life lessons, right? The you know the things that you do different because of what happened to you, right? So what advice would you give people other than don't commit suicide and just keep going and all that stuff. Um, what advice would you give them if they are feeling lost?
If you're getting lost in the physical realm, it's because of influences around you most of the time. It's because maybe you feel like you don't fit in, but each and every one of us is priceless. I ask people all the time, if I offered you $1 million, but you have to hold your breath and you can never breathe again, would you take the money? No, I have to breathe. If I gave you $1 million that you can never see again, you're blind, would you take the money? No, I need to see the world. If I offered you $2 million to take your limbs off and you have to go through the rest of your life, but you'll be a very wealthy person, you'll have everything you want. No, I need those. We're priceless. So if you're priceless and you can breathe, you can walk, you could talk, you could hear, you could smile, you could feel, you could touch, well, then no money can buy you.
Yeah.
If no money can buy you because you already have everything, don't let money waste your time, because time does not buy money. I myself, as a radio host, I interview the poor of the poor, the rich of the rich, the most wealthiest people. And some of these people say, you can't buy time. And some of them are on their death, they're about to die and expire because it's over. And we ask them, what's the one thing you would exchange? Time. So everything you own and have, your shirt, your clothes, your car, your house, you're leaving it behind. You didn't take a U-Haul truck to the other side. So if you're leaving it all behind and you're the creator of you and you're the vibrational love of you, then why not enjoy every second of every day of fulfillment and love with the energy you have in the most positive way, and turn those negative thoughts into a positive things. I don't want to go to work, but I can go to work. I don't want to go to school, but I can go to school. Think about all the vibrational things you can do, not that you don't want to do, because that's what you are. You're in abundance of life because you have everything. And I also get asked all the time, well, why would a person be born blind? What about them? It's unfair to them. Do you know that those people have more senses than we do and in abilities? Where some of them go into a dream state who have never seen anything in the physical world. When they go into a dream state, they could describe a world that we can't even fathom. Each one of us has a gift. Our gift as creators help other people, other souls vibrate. And when we vibrate together. If you owned a mansion and you were alone in the mansion, you'd say, well, I'm happy. I have everything I want, the pool, the jacuzzi, and I have everything, my Maserati, but you're alone. And when you're alone, you get lost. And when you get lost, you feel void. And when you feel void, there's emptiness, because energy creates energy, and you need other people around you to enjoy the things you have with you. My message to mankind is, do positive things for people and don't expect anything back. And I promise you, without intent, a karmic view of vibrational energy that you put around you, better things happen for you. Don't expect anything. Maybe someone needs that phone call that they didn't think you called them. Maybe someone needs help lifting groceries. Do things for mankind. And I promise you, that is the message. Forget about everything else around you. Sometimes we see the wars going on and the crimes, and don't embrace yourself into all the negative energies, because you can't control it. But what you can control is remember these key words. You came into this physical realm alone, and you are leaving alone. No one's taking your hand and say, hey, we're going now. It doesn't work like that. So then why not be positive along that little journey that you have here, and the best way forward, and push that love ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And that in the end, it's all about love, right? The unconditional love that you felt when you were there. And for us to come back to love, that's part of the soul growth that we come for, is to forget about that love, forget about it, and then go back to it. And so that's where, where we come in to help humanity. So that's just such a beautiful lesson and such a beautiful way to, put it out there. So I'm just so grateful to have met you, heard your story, and I just always love the messages of love. So how can people find you again? I want to make sure that people are able to find you on your radio show and on YouTube and any social media that you have, and your book as well.
Well, you can simply type in my name, Philip Siracusa, on Google. I'm everywhere. YouTube, you can just type my name in, and it's Horsefly Chronicles Radio. We're on Monday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern. Um, based out of New Orleans, the radio station. You can watch us on Roku, on
And what do you
United Public Radio Network.
and what do you talk about in the radio?
Horsefly Chronicles Radio, we interview celebrities around the world
Okay.
about their near-death experiences or their ghostly experiences or alien encounters or visitations or angels. And I can tell you this, I've been doing it a long time. And no matter who you think they are, a lawyer, a doctor, the rich, the poor, it's a universal conjunction of energy that everyone has an experience that is otherworldly. Everyone. There is no one. And some people may be ashamed, but don't be to come forward with it. Now it's becoming more popularized and people are coming out more and saying, hey, you know what? I'm in corporate America, but this is what happened to me. I had a visitation. And most of the time, the visitations are a loved one saying, hey, I'm ringing a bell, knocking a door near you. I want to communicate and say, I love you. Hello. So listen to that song. Sometimes that song is one of the communication signs from the both worlds. They're saying, hey, doesn't that song ring a bell? I'm going to play it again if you didn't get it the first time. Or you may smell a perfume or a cologne. It might be grandma, grandpa, sister, brother, cousin, relative, friend. Or you may drive and see a sign. That sign looks familiar. Or you may see the robin or a butterfly at the most mysterious times. These are the little signs of the other side saying, hey, I'm watching. I'm here. I'm here. You're doing a great job. Push the love forward, push the energy forward, never give up, never have doubt, and don't let your surroundings of negative energy, and most of all, don't let the Joneses of people who you think, well, they have more than me, and I'm never going to have anything. Don't do that to yourself. Don't. Because I already said, you are priceless because you have everything in the physical realm. So don't shortchange yourself. Now just take that abundance of energy and move forward and go through your accomplishments and do what you want to do, what you believe in. And don't let anybody stop you because it's your mission and your mission only.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much. And really, I'm just super grateful for you being here.
Thank you so much. It is very nice to meet you. Once again, if people need to email me just to say, hey, I need someone to talk to, it's PSIRACUSA number 4 at yahoo.com. And thank you so much. And I'll definitely be talking to you soon.
All right, great. Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.